Do you find it difficult to focus on your customers and even your own employees as you're juggling numerous vendors? Do you have more meetings with vendors than you can count? And do their reports filled with technical jargon make you feel clueless and frustrated? Such is the story of Nathan. Being at a car dealership, he's concerned about his store's digital marketing presence and invests most of his time dealing with vendors to promote his business and gain more sales and market share. Nathan is busy handling reports and reviewing them, not knowing what is happening on the advertising front and about his true ROI. Poor Nathan is worried but can't figure out a solution until he found BZ Consultants Group. BZ Consultants stepped in and was able to take the digital marketing vendor burden off Nathan's plate, giving him peace of mind that the best interest of the dealer was always top of mind. Being an unbiased third party, BZ Consultants always made sure to relay the reports in easy, relatable, and actionable ways so that Nathan could best utilize the data. Now, Nathan can focus on what he really wanted, the customer experience and growth. By being your digital marketing business partner, BZ Consultants Group will remove the hassle trying to hold your vendors accountable and increase your productivity with the time you will now have armed with true data. Together, we make it possible because your success is our goal.
Welcome into Facts Not Feelings, our Furniss Fast Lane. And as Jordan Cox is putting it, it is in all caps. I would yell, but with the microphone, I might get a little too loud. But it's Furniss Friday, baby. Yay. I could not agree more on that, Mr. Jordan. So it's always good to see your bright and smiley face. Larry, good afternoon to you, good sir, friend. I'm not going to, sir, like, come on, seriously. I say that like to other people, like not to you, Larry. We got Peter Smith saying another great Friday with Brooke and her show makes my day. Peter, you just made my day. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, sir. All right, everyone. We are in Friday. We're on Friday. As we were talking offline, like, Sam, your week it's been a little bit helter-skelter, like up and down. Yeah. On Tuesday, I thought it was Wednesday. On Wednesday, I thought it was Thursday. And then Thursday, I was like, all right, we made it to the weekend. I was like, I still have another day. Like, what is going on?
We've had similar weeks. It's been a tumultuous up and down, but a lot of positives for a Friday. So I'm good.
And Jordan, thank you so much. I think it was, who was it? Oh my gosh. It was David Malone that was like, Brooke, you're the Joe Rogan of automotive. I was like, first off, I don't know if I'm that, but I will take that title any given day. So we'll just make a shirt now that says Brooke is the Joe Rogan of automotive. So thank you so much. Robbie, good to see you, buddy. It's been a while since I've talked to Robbie. Hope you're doing well there, bud. So Sam, we were talking about the crazy week. We were talking about the show a little offline and I'm, about going through all this. And yeah, I guess we'll just jump into this. So it's going to go a different direction, but there was so much to unpack with that I was like, man, maybe we just start, jump into this right now. Cause it's actually, before we do, let's start with the fact, and I said this today on the walk and talk, but for those that don't know, I was not a fan of dealer e-process when I first came to be about dealer e-process. But that was like 10 years ago. That's like 10, 15 years ago. And I was like, my dealerships at the time, those sites weren't performing well. I was like, man. So flash forward to about 2-ish years ago, Gino and I are at DMS. I think it was DMSC. It was one of the MRC DMSC. And he's talking about having it being personalized. And I was like, okay, yeah, of course everyone claims they're personalized. And so he just sat back. He waited for it to come to him. He's like, let me show you the back end of the tool. And I was just blown away by what dealer process can do and the capabilities and the true personalization. You don't have to sign in. I mean, there's just that right there made me such a believer in obviously the website provider and you all, but then you get to know the people and the support around what you guys do. It's just, I cannot say enough good things. I'm not saying that other website providers are bad. I'm saying that have to eat my words on what I said for about a decade.
Thank you.
It was the best time to eat my words ever. So let's put it that way.
I'll take it.
All right. So with that, let's jump into some of the takeaways from the show. So I'm gonna kick it over to you first. What was one of your main takeaways from the show and the episode that we just dropped yesterday?
So, again, it's about the experience, and it's about making sure that when it comes to performance, you're looking at the metrics that don't just equal the leads, and understanding your digital shopper and understanding what you can do with the website. And we can get into more of the personalization stuff if you want. We didn't really cover too much of it on the show, but we could dive into kind of some of the stuff that we're cooking up to help make use of that data, which I think is a very cool thing.
Agreed. And Jordan is saying, yo, Sam, Brooke and Sam are rocking Chicagoland. Yes. Well, you're still Chicagoland-ish. I would ish.
Adjacent.
It's like, by guilty by association, maybe. I don't know, one of those two. I don't want to use guilty there, but we're going to use that word there.
It works. I just don't have to pay the taxes of Chicagoland.
Oh, mercy. Yeah. Every month when I get our mortgage at the escrow, I'm just like, oh my gosh, we pay more in taxes than we do for our freaking mortgage. This is insane. But that is the joy of living in Chicago. And before we go to the number 2 takeaway here, or one for me, let's just hold up your mug one more time. I'm going to bring this banner down here. And
you were a big fan of this when I first joined in on this broadcast. First time you're seeing this mug too.
For those that are listening, you couldn't hear it. It was Pothead. What did it say?
It said Pothead's welcome, and it's a picture of a coffee pot.
Yes. I just think, I don't know where you got that, but that is pretty epic is all I'm going to say.
So it actually is from a coffee company called the 27 Club, and they're out of Ohio, and they're a coffee roaster. So I actually got the mug from them.
I love that. So we were talking offline as well, is that I'm a big tea drinker. A lot of that, I lived in Japan in 2006. And that's where my love of green tea started, and obviously escalated from there. And there's just nothing like when that first drop hits your tongue, you're like, bah, everything is better in life right now.
How I feel about coffee.
Yeah, I've never been a coffee drinker. I could do like a mocha or something like that, but I've just never been a huge. The only coffee I'll drink, and Peter, if you're listening right now, is Tim Hortons. And it's got to be the real Tim Hortons, not the K-Pods. It's got to be from Canada. It's got to be the real Tim Hortons. That I can drink.
What about Tim Hortons in Michigan? Because there's a couple right over the border. Does that qualify still?
You know what? I was actually in Michigan, and the first time I had it was in Canada. I'd had a dealer that's like, "Hey, we're doing a coffee run." I was like, "Oh no, I'm okay." And he comes back. It's like, "What is this sorcery? This is not coffee." And I was in Michigan, and I think I went there. It wasn't as good. Maybe they ordered it different. Maybe it was ordered differently. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just know when it's from Tim Hortons, then life is good.
100%.
All right, so back to some of the takeaways. So you talked about some of the personalization you can do, and some of the making that experience better. One of the things in particular we talked a lot about was the mobile experience, and that is something that you and I could talk the entire hour on this alone. And when you and I are going through, I have clients and I have friends, or just being been in the industry for as long as I have, going through, and you're like, so okay, let's just rewind on how the mobile experience. Most people are going to be on this thing, and they're going to be searching. So too often now, for me personally, I'm on my desktop all the time because I've got the 17 monitors up here. But when I go to check something for any type of business, how's that mobile experience? And you've got the menu that's 7 miles long. You've got 17 CTAs on your site that you can't even see. You got a photo that's massive that's pushing everything down. And we talked about responsive websites a little bit. And with that of saying, hey, just because on desktop, maybe you are gently encouraged by an OEM to say you have to have 15,000 banners. Okay, maybe keep it on desktop because you're going to get docked for whatever. But on mobile, those in general, they don't do well. The hero banners don't do well. It's like a 0.02% click-through rate, especially on the second one. Then if you look at the banners on SRPs, which we all fell in love with those banners on SRPs, to say, well, is that really look that great on mobile? And you can still have a responsive site, but tailor a little bit more to the customer experience, and then the chat and everything in between. So that was one thing in particular that I really get hung up on, just because it drives me bonkers. Jordan said, if I could go back and change our delership website provider 2 years ago, I would go back and choose DEP. Well, there, see, it's not just
today.
Jeb, K-cups are grounds for disappointment.
I like that. I like a good pun.
I like that. It's so true. Even with whether it's coffee or tea, I think I'm going, and that's the first thing I did when I got a Keurig was go get Tim Hortons. I was like, So,
it's not even the same one. So I'll grind my own coffee with a manual grinder. We were talking about this before the show. Even when I just use one of those reusable K-cups and I drop the grounds, it still just doesn't taste right to me. I don't know why. It must be something about the superheated coffee instantaneous, or the water instantaneously. I don't know. But yes, no, I agree. The K-cups are not good.
And like personally, at least in this household, we have both the Keurig and then I have my tea kettle. And it's not just, we can use that for obviously a lot of different, but it doesn't get as hot in the Keurig from a degree standpoint than it does in the, so that for me, it's also been a big, like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Like you look at the back of anything, it's like, oh, it needs to be at 180 degrees. I'm like, I don't know what 180 degrees, but I test it. I go, oh my gosh, it's not even getting close to what it's supposed to be in that Keurig. So, in the Keurig, but anyways,
okay,
so we'll get off track a lot, so don't worry about that.
Don't worry. So the mobile desktop thing, I'm with you. Responsive is everything because you need to have the same content available from desktop to tablet to mobile to whatever. But you need to understand that things can be adjusted. So like, for example, on our homepages, I know that you said the banner click-through rate is low. If I have dealers that do a lot of homepage ads on the banners, they want to do something mobile optimized. It is not necessarily standard practice for responsive, but we do interesting things to where we have a completely different aspect ratio homepage banner that we can load from mobile. Why? So it takes up the screen better. So, that's where I said on the show, I was like, we might disagree a little bit here. Like there are some things that can be done differently. Like I was saying about how the filtering on desktop, when you click something, you want it instantly. Well, instantly when you click a filter on mobile sucks. Let's just face it. It does. So you need to have those different interactions. So things like that is looking at all of those small gains that will really help that consumer experience. Because to your point, why do banners suck? Well, nobody's taking the time to do 2 different size banners and do all these different things. Okay, so your click-through rate is going to be low because the bulk majority of your customers are going to your website on mobile. So I couldn't agree more on that. I mean, that's definitely a takeaway. It's if you can drop the banner safely, drop it. If you want to do a secondary banner that's more mobile optimized, do it. There's no wrong way to set it up. The worst thing you could do is just let that real estate be dead with a very tiny banner with text that nobody could read. That's the worst way you could do it.
And if you're watching on desktop right now, go pick up your phone and go to your dealership's website and see how those banners are. That print is so fine that you can't even see it. And then the other thing was like, when we go back to I won't say the hero banners, but actual banners, I've seen too often where the banner isn't responsive. And so it's taking up the entire page, or it's putting it down. You've got to go like 7 scrolls to even see what you're trying to see, or your photos. I love that you brought up about how you can optimize the photos to be on mobile. I'm still amazes me how many people don't do that. Like they'll keep the photos like they're on desktop, and it's like, well, it's not desktop size. Like it needs to be different. And even like from the photos, or I'll say whether it's a hero banner or whatever it may be, maybe you're putting something on just a general page. What is it? How does it look? And really spending time there, because if that's not optimized, you're just shooting your foot in yourself the foot. Jordan is saying mobile responsiveness is everything. Size does matter. I would also say, Jordan, on that little pun there, it's also how you use it. So we'll just leave it at that.
So one other thing on the images that I don't think we got to is, we take the inventory images too, and we actually store multiple sizes of them. So when you're down on a mobile size, we're pulling a different pixel size image that is a different file size on mobile. And we do it for we scale it up. Like there's like different ratios in which we pull the different ones, whether it's, small tablet, a medium tablet, large tablet, desktop, doesn't matter. So we do all these different things. So again, it matters in how you structure this so that, again, you're giving the best possible experience to someone without, limiting what they can do on the website. It's really what it comes down to.
I agree. What was one of the other wonderful takeaways? So we've talked about the mobile experience. We've talked about a little bit of the user experience. What's another takeaway from the show that dropped?
GA4, using it to make the decisions. Even though we know that there's bugs and things in the system, we cannot give up on it. We're all stuck with it. There is no fallback at this moment. That to me is a very, very big takeaway. And, selfishly, going to do a little plug on this, we're leveraging a lot of the GA4 data and our own ClickPath data to optimize these sites from their personalization perspective. So again, just let me give the audience for instance, we're collecting all this different data, and we see that bulk majority of Hyundai Palisade shoppers, right, want to do look at a window sticker first before they take any other action, right? DEP websites are going to be starting to prioritize that window sticker on Palisades if you're using the Everest platform for personalization. Why? Because we have data knowing that that's what the shopper's looking for. So again, it goes back to that whole conversation that we had about leveraging GA4, knowing the actions that are being taken on the models, understanding your digital shopper, but then not bombarding them with every possible CTA that's out there. Like, imagine living in a world, and this is what DEP is working towards, and we're damn close. Imagine living in a world where, based on consumer intent, CTAs on different models look different because the intent is different. Palisade might have an extra button here or there. A Kona might have one less button. And then again, once the consumer interacts and completes a get e-price or confirm availability, why am I showing it to them again? Take it away, give them another option. So now you're not listing out 17 CTAs. You could have a cache of 17 CTAs if they want to take 17 actions on there, but you only need to show them 3 because we know which 3 they need to see. So again, it's leveraging data, being smart with your user interface, and just making sure that you're not overwhelming your customers.
Jeff, we've got both the ground for disappointment. Now you're coming in with another great one of, what do you call a completely successful GA4 implementation? A myth. I disagree with you on that one. I've yet to see one that when I come on board, that's set up correctly. And even when it's set up correctly, because it's GA4, all hell will break loose at some point. So like, it's just a matter of time. But I do love that. And Micah, good to see you, buddy. I don't know if you saw this here. I'm going to go back to this one. Is that the Sam? What up?
I was just texting you. I'll see you soon.
Micah, I don't know if I'm going to see you next, but hopefully I can see you soon, buddy. Definitely miss you. And that is something that first that was going back to like when I first was like, oh, okay, foot, insert mouth now of me eating my words about dealery process. And Micah, see you soon, friend. He's saying is I was going to bring up I believe you guys just won the Kane Shark Tank Award for Everest. Did you not?
So we took 3rd place at the Kane Shark Tank. So we were there defending our title. We won 1st place last year. We took 3rd this year.
Okay, I thought you. Okay, regardless, I'm sorry. I'm like, I knew you won last year, so I saw a bunch of photos and I thought you won, and apparently I didn't read the caption well enough. But that was going through and saying, hey, to your window sticker thing, I am still shocked how many people click on that, and then like that just blows my mind. And yet, a lot of times that link will be broken, or I've seen website providers that didn't have it, and I was like, man, we're missing out on traffic here. But also understanding that when the customer comes in. And let's say you're not using dealery process, you're in a legacy platform or something, and you don't have any control over your changing thing. Being able to see in GA4, if it is set up correctly, which is a whole other story, but saying, hey, they're clicking on this button all the time. Do we know that? I mean, or hey, what do we want to do A/B testing to say that this one, we're going to change the verbiage on this one and change it and keep it on this one, or we change I don't want to get started on colors, but you change a color, something like that. You can still go through in GA4 and see which ones are being clicked on the most, or if there's a decrease in it, you can still do those things, assuming it's set up correctly. I know that the 1.1 or whatever we're calling it, 2.0 ASE spec just came out. So some of those things are changing as well, and in implementing that, because there are so many glitches with GA4, as we all know, that it staying up on that to say, okay, is this in essence a hard conversion or a soft conversion? But really looking at that, I mean, if I personally am on a dealer process site and I'm looking at a Hyundai Tucson, and then if I go to a Elantra, well, now I'm shopping for something completely different. So why are we serving up that same message that is not relevant? Amazon doesn't do that. And yet we all say, oh, we have the Amazon experience. No, you don't. Like, if you're serving up different experiences and not personalizing it to the consumer, you don't have that. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm excited for what we've got released already. Like my favorite thing is, again, I don't know why shoppers do this, but we found in the ClickPath data, people will click the menu, click the car, go to the SRP, go through a couple pages. They'll go back to the menu to pick a model instead of maybe using the left side. Now, it's not all of them, but it's some. So my favorite thing has been that, Everest is keeping the memory of what they like as far as Apple CarPlay, heated seats, reverse cam, whatever those feature sets may be. So when they do go back to that menu, we're going to narrow that scope. Again, going after that Amazon experience, giving them a unique experience. If there's 20 people on an SRP all at the same time, they're having 20 unique experiences with no login required. And, and we're just going to keep snowballing that thing as much as we can. So we're trying to leverage every bit of dealer data, all the first party data that we can to bring these experiences to the shoppers that are on these sites.
I could not agree more. It's just like going through that and once again, understanding where the consumer is. I was going to bring up something and I was like listening. I was like, I don't now remember what I'm sure it'll come to me at some point. So we got GA4. Yep. We've got the mobile portion of it. What else are we missing here?
Man, We talked a lot about button color violations, but there's really not. Like, that's a tough one. I feel like the industry's moved a little bit past that, especially with OEM compliance. You know, we have to use certain colors and things, but I still get a couple dealers out there that have some interesting CTA setups.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember everything we talked about so much in the episode.
Well, while you're thinking about I've seen even on certain OEM sites, and because every OEM is different, and I'll go to X agency or whatever, whomever's doing this, or the website provider, and just say, hey, I'm just curious. You're having a gray button, we'll say, but the background is light gray. If the OEM is mandating the buttons have to be gray, why the hell do we have a gray background? Like, I couldn't see it, or like the hype. That's what that bugs me is the hyperlinks. You're trying to do internal linking inside the website, and let's say an OEM doesn't allow you to do blue. Okay, if the rest of if all your words are black and you've got to make it black, why don't we change this up a little bit so someone can actually see that, oh, by the way, this is going to link me to the VDP or to what SRP or something like that. That's something as well. Like, really ask your OEMs and the OEM provider, the website provider, whatever it be, and say, is it okay if we do this? Because I have been on so many site Sams where I just go, wait, do you guys not do internal linking? Like, what's going on? Oh no, it's on, sentence 7. What? Like, I can't even see this right now. That is designing for dogs, Brooke. Which part, Jeff, on that one? The CTAs or the fact that the linking is just insane? So man, I've seen so many sites like that. It just drives me crazy. So much. Let's go into like the other thing, like when you're talking about the CTAs, and too often, and I know that it's not as bad as it used to be, but we're still seeing this where I'll go on a page and there's not only 7 CTA buttons, but they're all different colors. Gray on gray. Yes. Yeah, Jeff, that's, yeah. But I'll see those like multiple color buttons there. And it's like, okay, is there a reason for all this? Or are we just putting them on there because we want to be colorful? Are we actually understanding? Are we A/B testing this? Like, why are there so many different colors? And a lot of people say, well, red is bad. Well, red actually can be good because statistically speaking, that someone thinks, oh, I shouldn't click on that. So they're going to click on it. But then green can be good as well. So understanding what the context is on that button and what the background is, what the verbiage, and there's so many things that go into it. It's not about the freaking color. Please, no more about the color.
Yeah. And A/B testing's always been something. Look, it's always good to test, but keep in mind that when you're A/B testing, unless you are really segmenting your audience, so difficult to do A/B testing. I've heard every version of, oh, well, every other shopper gets a different color button. Great. Is every other shopper all from organic? Is every other shopper all from paid? The person that you targeted with a paid ad that's lower in the funnel, are they going to click it because it's red and not care? Probably, versus the person that organically got to the website that's higher up in the funnel who wasn't going to click anyways, whether it was red or green. There's so much that goes into A/B testing. So if you are doing this and you are running tests and you're trying to work with your web provider to optimize these things, please take into a grain of salt that a more narrow scope of what you're testing is always better, as opposed to just going, I want to take all 20,000 visitors and every other time just give them a different option. The intent is just too impossible to account for.
Agreed. And you brought up a point about the VDPs, and that's another one that if you are trying to look into your GA4 metrics and see how people, hey, is this provider doing a good job? Understand where they're dropping their customers. Are they dropping them on an SRP or a VDP? Because that is going to drastically change your metrics. Like, there's a really, really big difference on, hey, I am going straight to this VDP. It's exact car. I'm going to see what I want, versus an SRP. You're going to spend more time on that. Like, you're going to scroll through trying to find the exact car that you want. Oh, they've got it in leopard print this month, so let's go check out the leopard print one. They've got it in camouflage, versus, oh, I just wanted a white sedan, whatever it be. And Brian is coming in here saying Sam is better looking than Sean McVay.
Yes. Yes. I love the Sean McVay comparison. I don't think, did I tell you this story?
This is the first time I've seen this.
Okay, so I don't know who all knows this story because I've told a couple people. So we were watching football. It was me, my wife, and my daughter. My daughter's 2. And she's standing next to the couch, and she keeps looking at the TV and looking at me and looking at the TV and looking at me. And she goes, Dada. And I go, what? Dada's ready. She goes, Dada. And she's pointing at the TV. I go, that is Sean McVay. That is not Dada. And she goes, Dada. And she just kept looking back and forth. And I looked at my wife. I go, what is happening right now? She's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the beard and the hair. It could be. So ever since that, every time we're watching football and the Rams are on and she sees Sean McVay, she keeps going, Dada's on TV, Dada's on TV. So I told a bunch of people this story. So I don't know where it got it, or if Brian just, took a stab in the dark on this one, but that's great.
It was like now that he said that, that's all I can see now. So as you see, like my eyes drift away from the camera. I'm like, no, he really, I can see that now. So.
His hair is a little more red than mine. Now it's funny because my hair does not look red at all. My beard, when it's a little longer, it starts getting red. My daughter's hair is copper penny. So
no way.
Don't know, but maybe there's some relation to Sean McVay.
Now, if only you could get the contract of Sean McVay. That's what we got to do next there.
That'd be nice.
Stephen Apsella, love the content expertise. Are there any more acronyms, abbreviations we can create for our industry? Man, Stephen, it's funny you bring that up. So my editing team, his name is Josh Adams. He's phenomenal. And he's not from the industry. And so every so often I'm like, oh, sorry, that's another acronym of our wonderful industry. This is what the acronym is. But I just go, I apologize. There's more acronyms than we have that NASA has. So yes, Stephen, I would agree with that. Thank you very much, sir. Super appreciate that. It is crazy. And then we keep adding some. We're adding CDP. We're adding AI. I mean, we're adding so many acronyms. And it's always a fun thing of like, oh, wait, do they know what we're talking about? Because they're not in the industry, or maybe you're not familiar with the latest buzzword acronym as it may be. So who knows these days?
I would say that's the only thing we didn't touch on our episode was AI. We really didn't dive into AI at all.
Shockingly, I think we ran out of time.
I think we did. Admittedly, there is some AI behind what we're doing with the personalization. Obviously, we're not, crunching these numbers ourselves and doing this personalization stuff, but we do have some very cool stuff attached to Everest that is coming out for AI very shortly here. That's going to help make sense of all of the data that is powering the personalization on the website, so that you don't have to sit there and try to manually look at it. You can actually leverage some of the tools that we're going to be bringing forth to actually crunch some of this to see currently what's happening with inventory, what the interest levels are, what are the top actions, and just some budgetary recommendations and some other things. So we've got some pretty cool stuff that we've been using to actually do the personalization. We're going to be putting in the hands of the dealers very shortly to kind of crunch that data and look into it themselves as well. So I'm very excited about that too. So again, this whole industry has been data forever. And we're excited to be just, part of using the ASC spec and tying that into what we're doing to try to just give more data to the dealers to, again, make better decisions on just knowing the customer that's on your site and what they're looking for.
Yeah. Yes. The other thing that we talked about is the breaking down of silos. That is something it gets talked about, but we really know what that means. It's not just like, okay, BDC over here and finance over here, fixed ops over there. Like, yes, we need to break those down as well. But also understand when you do a marketing campaign and you spend all this money to acquire a customer, which is a whole other situation there. But even if you're trying to retain that customer with some marketing or campaign of some sort, do all departments that are going to be affected by this? No. Because how many times, if you're a BDC right now, how many times gets flooded with messages and you're like, I don't even know what this is. Or there's some button on the website that you didn't even know existed that was supposed to do whatever. Or, hey, the consumer's behavior is this, but they're not even looped in. Or the receptionist, hey, by the way, we're running this campaign, blah, blah, blah. If someone calls into that, this is what it is. Fixed ops, same thing. Are we running this campaign? Does anybody even know what the hell is going on here? So really having that communication and not just breaking down that, hey, this person is over in this land and this person over, like, okay, yes, we definitely need to do that as well. But understand from a marketing standpoint, a process standpoint, does every single person that's going to be affected by X change, whether it's adding a CTA, adding a new campaign, whatever it is, tweaking something, are they aware of that? That is, to me, I continually see that be an issue, a huge issue.
Yep. Yeah. One of the issues I can tack onto that is, and I mean no offense to anybody by this. I just want to preface that because it happens. We get busy, things happen, processes break down. But I've seen too often that digital retailing configurations on websites are set a certain way by certain people at the store, and it works and it's great. But then one of the teams, whether it's the salesperson, the sales manager, the finance manager, somebody just throws it out the window in the middle of the process on the customer. And again, it's not always intentional. It's just in the midst of everything, finance managers are busy. There's usually a waiting list of people to get in there that finalize their deal. But we just have to make sure that these teams are in communication. I'll give you, for example, obviously we're a digital retail provider. Often when we sell or we're launching a client, we get on the call and we are like, hey, we need this data. How do you want to configure this? What banks, what, rate bumps do you want to do? And then somebody goes, oh, well, that's not me. You need to talk to the finance manager. And then we go, okay, well, can you get them on the call? And then the finance manager goes, I don't know what this is. I didn't get the demo. And it's like, guys, can we get everybody involved? So to your point, we got to avoid these swim lanes. We have to make sure that everything from your marketing down to, your finance department, and everybody knows what's going on. The last thing you want to do is be going out there having a campaign about how great it is to buy a car through our website online, and we make it easy, and your finance department's not involved, and they've now made it not easy. Yep. So we do have to break those barriers down a little bit more.
And especially with that example is that it directly impacts F&I. And you want your DR tool to fail, don't loop them in, and they will be insanely pissed off at you. In 2020, when everyone was jumping on the DR bandwagon, and it really was that whatever, it'd been around for a long time. At 2020, it took off. The number of dealerships that I saw just not even loop their finance department in, they don't loop their BDC in. I was like, you guys, this is so, or even their sales team. I saw this happen all the time. I'm like, you've now made it so much more difficult for the consumer, and at that point, they're jumping ship. They don't want to have any part of a disjointed experience. And that is exactly what we're giving them. Oh, it'd be like, I've used this example before, I believe, but I order my tea from Starbucks on the Starbucks mobile app. I get to Starbucks and they're like, yeah, go stand back in line. What? There's no way we'd ever put up with that. It's just, any of these pickup orders, Target does a great job of that as well. Oh, you know what? It's actually going to be a lot more difficult for you to do the pickup. Just go down the aisle on aisle A17 and pick it up. What? There's no way we would ever put up with that in any other industry.
No. I mean, I didn't think of that. That's a great point. The worst thing that happens to me if I order my Starbucks ahead of time is I have to wait because it's a nitro cold brew. So they pour it when you get there. That's the worst thing. But if I had to stand in line behind 7 other people that were there and I've already placed my order, why? Why did I do this online? No, it's great.
And Steven's saying single siloed solutions. Once again, Steven, you're coming with alliteration with me on Friday. Single siloed solutions create dealer customer journey fragmentation. A digital retailing versus digital life cycle, AI versus human intelligent, variable fixed versus fixed. And we've got some hand placement, facepalm, one mission, hashtag one mission. And it's really true is that we continue, all these things can work together, but if we continue to have them so disjointed that this is going to be over here, this is over here, and to Steven's point, it's complete fragmentation. You've made it so much more difficult for the consumer, and they won't put up with that. I mean, loyalty, it is all-time low. So if they're already having that big of an issue now, why would they buy from you later on? They're not going to. So yes, thank you and Steven, I will say I got through this alliteration much better than last week. Last week, it was a hot mess trying to get through last week.
You know what? I wouldn't have been able to read that. I'm glad you read it. It wasn't, no, I would have been just all over that thing. So no.
It's like, when I see it, I'm like, okay, I'm already a fast talker. You're slow down, Brooke. You'll never get through this next sentence.
Yeah, I'm a very fast talker too. So yeah, I always have to try to remember to slow down as well, because I would have just burned right through that.
But using multiple platforms increases accuracy, right? Yeah, just have more and none of them integrate. That's another fun one there, is having all of those that do not integrate. And Brian, I don't know if it's rapping. I've seen your President's Day rap, which was pretty incredible. So I don't think I can hold a candle to your soon to be dropped album, I'm sure there, Brian, Mr. Ortega. So all right. Have we missed anything else here, Sam?
I had some notes. I was looking to see. I don't think we did. We talked about a lot of things. Let me just see here. Yeah, the data we talked a little bit about data privacy, and I think we touched a little bit on Google Analytics and blocking of Google Analytics and things. I think the jury's still been out on that, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good way to put that. Just once again, we are not lawyers. Want to be very, very upfront about that. just understand what you're getting yourself into. If this is something that you need to make your privacy policy more robust, get with your attorney on that. And that is the biggest advice I can give you before. It doesn't matter what company it is. Like there are a lot of compliance companies out there. I want to be very, very frank. There are a lot of compliance companies out there. Understand that if one is blocking something or you feel like it's going to, really do your due research to understand, is this something we want to opt into? We want to opt out of it. Maybe we look and say, hey, we just need a more robust privacy policy that's written up by our attorneys. Just really do your due diligence before. It's the same thing we go back to before you put a CT on your button, like you owe on your site. You need to do your homework to understand what is the ripple effect that's going to happen. Because if I don't have Google Analytics data anymore, well, that's a problem. That's a big problem. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars each year, if not actually probably more than that each year, to acquire those customers, and also to keep those customers. And if you don't have data to back that up, like you're just shooting in the dark. So, and also as we talked about as well, it's going to be based to an extent also on what state. Like California, wow, I love Californians. It is a different ball game in California.
Yep, a whole different set of rules.
All separate, and they make it fun for all of us. So thank you, CPA on that one. Or CCPA,
and TCPA.
Yeah, and then FTC and AEIOU.
There's more acronyms. Yeah, we're playing the acronyms game again.
But that's a big one, man. That's a very, very big one. I know that's a very hot topic right now, and we'll just leave it at that. We've got Jordan saying, love my Cali boy, Brian Ortega. Yeah, Brian, you and there's like the example right there. Like Brian does an incredible job with all of his social media and marketing, and he lives in California. So I understand that Brian is the anomaly with how amazing Brian is. I'm just saying is that, like, hey, you can still have great content and live in California. So just want to put that out there for everybody. So I think we touched on everything here. I think we got everything without going through the whole episode. I think we hit on everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could have made this an hour long, but I think we kept it brief so that otherwise it would have been a recap of the episode.
Yeah, you're like, and please go back and still watch it and consume it, please. That's all I'm asking. So
please go watch everything we just discussed.
Yes, everything we just discussed verbatim. Here's the script for it. Let's throw it in the notes here. All right. Well, with that, everyone, if you don't know Sam already, now you do. Get in touch with this human being. He's obviously an incredible human being, and they have just an awesome website provider as well. So if you're looking to change website providers, want to know more about Everest, want to know more about their marketing, whatever it be, just reach out to Sam. You can find him pretty easily just about anywhere at this point. Sam, is that correct?
Yes. I think I gave my cell phone out on the show. I'm all over LinkedIn. My information, I think you've got right there. And if you are at any of the upcoming conferences, you can very easily see me. Just look at the crowd and then look for the tallest person. You're not going to miss me. I'm 6'10", and there is no way that you will walk past me without going, wow, he's really tall. So you can find me anywhere.
Yes, and as Jordan is saying, love me some Sam. Yes, yeah, you'll see him. I jokingly said to him, I'm like, if you're unsure if you met Sam, then you probably haven't met Sam, because you would 100% be like, oh yeah, okay, there he is. All right, fantastic.
The only person I've met, yes.
Love it. All right, well, everyone, as you know, at this point of the show, find a way to serve today. Find a way just to be the joy in someone's life, whether it is opening a car door, whether that is maybe just a kind smile, but just do something to make someone's life a little bit better today. And with that, everyone, we will see everybody next week.